way. So I'm going to pause there for a minute and go to our audience and see if they have any questions or comments.
I just like the idea of reminding myself to slow down, with decisions, and that, we do have enough information. This isn't a survival thing. This is a thoughtful, whatever the decision is. I like that concept and idea.
Does anyone have any ideas on how they would take what we've talked about back to their office? I have a question on experiential interviewing. Oh, go ahead, Darlene.
No, I like the stand-up meeting, and I actually was trying to think about how that works now when we're in a Zoom world, when we're virtual, and what are some of the biases that may come out being that you're in a virtual kind of setting, right? So the things that people might pay attention to in your Zoom room where you are, whether or not we should be having people have very generic backgrounds, or, the backgrounds that speak to their identity. All of those kinds of things are starting to pop in in terms of biases that come towards people in the workplace. So that's kind of interesting. I don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think a couple of best practices that I'm seeing, and I've been having my participants turn on their video. We don't go to work with a box over our head, right? When we're with our team, they can physically see us and have that experience. And I think that that we need to have people show their physical appearance. There's so much being said in my face and in my movements that communicate. A lot of our communication is nonverbal, right? So the first thing I'd say to kind of normalize that is to make sure that everyone's communicating the same way, which would be to turn on video cameras. And you make a really good point, and I think this is a good discussion to have, is, what would people have in their backgrounds? What's okay? I know that I have friends who work from home and feel a little uncomfortable with their colleagues seeing their home. Mm-hmm. So maybe there needs to be some provision by the company to create what might be a safe space, or a space that people feel comfortable sharing. I do think that we can all get dressed and look appropriately for the work setting, but I think what you're saying adds some really interesting nuance to how folks can communicate in a Zoom world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh, and I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Quentin.
So this presentation reminds me of the importance of having a diverse decision-making team so that you can counter various unconscious bias. I think that's important. I think sometimes overlooked, that having a team approach toward making these kinds of decisions about recruiting, about any other important decision. It's important to have diversity in the decision maker as well as the folks that we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. I mean, in interviewing, in any kind of process where you have a lot of people, diversity of thought, right? And to improve that diversity, it's good to have some processes that are nonverbal, right? So where people are giving their feedback based on a scoring system or a checkbox. So it's blind, right? So if we were to interview somebody and we all agreed what a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is as a response for that particular question, and we scored on a scorecard for that particular candidate, it would be very hard for us to bias that, right? Because one, there'd be too many scores for us to kind of coordinate. We wouldn't, the interviewers wouldn't necessarily talk to each other, before, right? And not during, so that there's a more permission for people to give a more authentic score, a more authentic feedback. And it wouldn't be just that, but it's a great tool to bring in. And I think we can do that for anything. If we're making decisions, sometimes it might be good to have a blind scoring, depending on the decision. Because often speaking up, particularly speaking up, right? We have people who don't feel comfortable speaking up. and we don't get their information. So in meetings, I think we've all been in meetings where the people who like to talk the most, their way will be the way, and that doesn't work. So how do we create more ways of us to communicate? I think Zoom is kind of fascinating because we now have polls and we have other ways to engage and share our wisdom